Welcome in 5:30 on the dot. Pips Planes Patting live, back in action on the west side of the airport. I'm hoping that they will send the KLM Dreamliner on the west side tonight. We've got a south flow here at Salt Lake City International Airport, which means the airports will be running ATC, that is. We will be running traffic from south north to south. So as you look into the distance, that's where we will see the airplanes arrive tonight. And what is up, UP Railroad? Good to see you. A good evening, a Friday evening, that is. And welcome in. So I'm hopeful I called it right, UP Railroad, and we'll get to catch the 787 Dreamliner on this side and cross our fingers. So, but hope you can hear me okay. Let me know how the broadcast looks and sounds so far. But we'll be here for the next 2 hours or so, bringing you all the good action that you come to expect from Salt Lake City and have a little fun at it as well. Should be very busy this weekend, meaning me, now that I'm almost back to full health. Got some bionic. Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Thank you for the report. UP Railroad went to the doctor, I think, on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday it was, and got some antibiotics for sinus infection. So that was nice, whoever passed that along. But I'm mending well here as we're looking, of course, at the south side of Concourse A here at Salt Lake City International Airport. And hopefully ATC will give me some action tonight. Yeah. Oh, and give me 1 second. I forgot to close my truck door. Yeah, we'll see how Friday night. I don't know if I've ever done a Friday night plane spotting. This should tell you how sad my social life is, but not necessarily. Just have to find the right woman, maybe a captain or a first officer or a flight attendant who appreciates aviation as much as I do. So, you got any big plans tonight, UP Railroad? Made it out of the first week of class. Uh, with our class, we all got 100%. So, we're all moving on, which is actually the first time in history, it sounds like, that uh, the tracks class that the entire class got all 100%. So they didn't have to eliminate anybody. So we're all moving on. And yeah, we'll see how things go from there. It's a little overwhelming the past couple days. So having it done is a big lift. Weight off my shoulders. So, UP, it could be you, just you and me, and maybe a couple other people, but that's all right. I will bring the same energy that I always do, and it just feels good to be back almost to full strength. To be honest, that is yeah, it was pretty rough couple days and pretty exhausting. So I'm just glad to be back. Nothing too fancy for you. All right. Well, I already had my dinner. So yeah, it was a big relief. We all took it. We took it yesterday, and about half the class got hundreds, and the other half got like 97%. And as you know, we had to get 100. So came back this morning, took it, and the rest of us got 100. So yeah, big relief for sure. If you're new to the channel and eventually joining us or just tuning in, I encourage you to like and subscribe. That way you'll know when and where we'll be broadcasting next. Oh, I usually put out a little video to let people know. So, yeah, but it was a big relief for sure. I'm very happy. In fact, I don't even want to talk about work. I want to talk about aviation and plane spotting. And obviously, also want to make note that if they're good, the good people out there in the Midwest and the South, be safe out there, please. Big tornado rolling through Little Rock, Arkansas, and also Iowa and Illinois, so not too far from my home. So be safe out there and take those warnings seriously. because they are for your safety. So just keep an eye out on that. Looks like tonight ATC is sending us Delta 526. You see there, arriving from Atlanta on an A321 first off, and some of the departures going to the east are actually, funny enough, actually on the eastern runway. So they've been doing some funky things, but it looks like they're getting their act together. Where most of the arrivals here are on the west side, and most of the departures are on the east side. So we'll keep an eye out for maybe some western departures. But here's 526 Delta 526 from Atlanta, just arriving in on an Airbus A321. And thanks for the like and just jumping into the chat. Thank you so much. Of course, we're here at Salt Lake City International Airport. All right, UP, what do you think? Are we going to get a bunch of snow on? I was looking at the forecast, and thank you for the like, by the way. I was looking at the forecast, UP, and I didn't get a measurement amount as far as the amount of snow, but KSL was saying that radio was saying that the mountains could get up to 3 feet from like Sunday evening into Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. So I don't know if you've seen any projections yet for those of us here, maybe in the valley or at least on the bench. So. And hello to everyone who just tuned in this evening here at Salt Lake City International Airport. I have to say hello as we begin our broadcast and people will jump on board. A foot? Oh, lovely. So are you north or south of Salt Lake? There's Delta 526. Looks like it's going to come hang out with us tonight here in Concourse A on the south. Well, I guess if there's, okay. So I think that might we might expect a little bit less south here in like Sandy Murray, hopefully. I don't live on the bench, so maybe 6 to 8 inches. I think the other thing too to keep in mind is the temperatures are probably going to stay above freezing for most of the snow. So hopefully that'll be of some benefit, especially on the morning commute in. So I'm crossing my fingers. And hello to everybody. I am Pip. I am almost back to full strength. I was sick. Maybe sick of studying and also sick physically. So I don't know what we're gonna see, but I thought I made a deal with Mother Nature that she could snow through March and then April she had to stop. So apparently she doesn't listen to me. She has selective hearing. So I'll see if I can negotiate with her further for any reduced amount of snow. And I heard that and also Big Cottonwood and Little Cottonwood canyons were closed today just due to avalanche issues and avalanche control. So thanks for the like. Welcome in. Don't be shy. Feel free to say hi. And of course, encourage you to subscribe. So that way you'll know when and where we'll be broadcasting next as Southside Concourse A starts to fill up. So let's run down to the aircraft that we have here down on Concourse A right now. On the even gates is where we're at. Even meaning numbers 2 through 26, I want to say. So 2 out there and the edge. That's 737-900. Then we've got our A220. I believe that's a 100 variant. So a little bit smaller than the 300 variant. Then we've got Airbus A321 joining the party. And then we've got our Airbus A321 just in from Atlanta, just waiting for a gate, waiting to get marshaled in. And they may be waiting. There is a pushback right now, a little bit further in. The bridge is blocking it. But those are our gates right now. And construction is progressing. Winds are going to be out of the north tomorrow. So I think what we'll do is probably be on the east side tomorrow. If not, if we don't go to Vegas, and when I say we, I mean I guess I always feel like there's another teammate out there. But thought about going to Vegas. That's still possibly on the table. Just want to monitor the weather to see when it rolls in because I don't want to be stuck somewhere with work. Hey, Daniel, good to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I was sick recently, as in this week, and so I'm just recovering. Thankfully, on the got some antibiotics, had a little sinus infection, so I'm on the mend. Thank you for asking, and was able to pass the test with 100%. So win, 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 win. How are you doing out in Milwaukee, sir? You might have some severe weather. Did they say it's going to head up north to you guys, or is it going to stay south? So that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, it could not have come at a worse time because we had the test this week, and thankfully, I was mentioning it to UP that the whole class passed, which is the first time in history. So that's good for our train job that I've been talking about periodically off and on out here. So we made it through that test, but there's actually 5 written tests, so we have 4 more to go, and we'll go from there. So severe weather by 8 o'clock in Milwaukee. We'll keep a lookout, Daniel. I know that obviously, if you've caught the news or paid attention to the weather, pretty strong tornado running through Little Rock, and then several tornadoes in Iowa along the Mississippi River near, and also in Illinois. So yeah, be on the lookout. We'll hope that everything goes out okay. So, yeah, well, that sounds like a springtime in the Midwest, right, Daniel? Snow one day or severe weather one day, snow the next. So we're looking at Spirit Airlines A320 Neo inbound from Orlando. There in the distance. It is 1790. I was trying to get the flight number for you. That's right, only in Wisconsin. Well, I knew severe weather was going to be on the way. I didn't know exactly where, but UP can vouch for this. We had some strong winds. I think it was on Wednesday or Tuesday that really made, and I just got the feeling that, it was on our way or headed out to the Midwest. So I knew something was a brew. So yeah, be careful out there. Hopefully nothing too bad. And they haven't issued a tornado watch, have they? As we look at 1790 Spirit Airlines, the yellow bus, of course, arriving in from Orlando. Well, Daniel, that is a great question. And thank you for the like, by the way. And for everybody tuning in who's new to the channel, encourage you to like and subscribe. The weather out here today and for the weekend should be top notch for spring. Maybe a little bit cool in the 50s, but not expecting any precipitation for this evening. Shouldn't really see anything or rain. So that's good. However, I was just talking with UP Railroad that we are expecting more snow on Monday and a pretty good amount. So I think it's going to be probably, you know, they said the mountains will get some of the ski resorts might get 2 to 3 feet. So I'm hoping we just get like 6 inches or less. And hopefully it'll be warm enough where most of the snow melts off the road. So, yeah, man, it's been quite the winter for us. Uh, it's been a while since I've talked to you, Daniel, and so you'll find this interesting. We set a record this year for the most snow ever in Utah, ever. So yeah, it just doesn't want to stop. Which for skiers is like top notch, but for anybody else, it's kind of annoying. So I was cool with it, and then like the last couple weeks of March, I'm like, all right, you've had your moment, Mother Nature. Time to change. Time to change. But nope, she still wants to keep on pushing. So kudos to her, I guess. Everyone who just tuned in, thanks for the likes. Welcome in. And to the person who just joined us, thank you for putting that like back. Yeah, definitely a daydream come true. Well, they had to close actually, in fact, for several of the resorts up in the mountains in a couple of the canyons near Salt Lake. They actually had to close the canyons because of avalanche concerns and avalanche things like that. So it's to the point where it's become almost too much. So they may start have to doing some avalanche control, which is always cool if you like military shells because they actually will launch shells into the mountains to proactively create an avalanche. So I'm sure at some point that'll start happening as well. Got a couple of pushbacks back to back. That 8222100 is headed to Boise, and that 1471 will be just behind them in a 737 800 headed to Los Angeles. That's Delta 1471 will be in the camera shortly. And Steven, hello, sir. Thanks for hanging with me late this evening. Good to thank you. And I'm glad to be back. I was a little under the weather, and I am just almost back to full strength and got done with the work week and knew where I was headed because I was feeling good and had some energy and good to see you, sir. Hope all is well on the other side of the pond. And got a nice couple of days here for the weekend. Hopefully, I'll be able to get out every single day this weekend. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Yes, they are. They are quite large. That is absolutely correct, Daniel. Especially for a plane of that size. I think that's one of the many reasons why that plane is able, being so small, can fly so far and efficiently. So it's all about fuel saving. So yeah. Pratt and Whitney turbofan. I do not know the exact model number, Daniel, but I know they are Pratt and Whitney turbofan engines, and very unique. So I can look up the model for you and let you know on a subsequent broadcast. But yeah, zoom in on those. So we saw that 737 800 headed to Los Angeles pass by us. I wonder if they'll route them to take off on 16 right. Most of the departures have been on 16 left today on the east side, and most of the arrivals have been on 16 right, which seems to be more than normal. But I was trying to guess because we just started. Daniel, I'm excited, and everybody else who just tuned in. We've got KLM coming back, and they just started this week. If you saw my video on my page, they started on Sunday, and they fly into Salt Lake 3 times a week from on Sundays, on Wednesdays, and Fridays, I believe. Yeah. So 3 times a week. Hopefully they'll upgrade it more. But for now, that's what they're doing. Eurowings will come back Memorial Day weekend from Germany. And also, um, I thought there was one more airline coming back, but for right now, maybe I was just getting excited that they would announce another one. Okay, so we got that's the A220-100 right there. That's still waiting, Daniel, and then looks like blocking us. That looks like an A321 heading there. So we'll go over to gate A14. So it looks like that next one, I can't see it because A16 is blocking the signage. But yeah. A2, okay. We're wondering, that'll be 737. Oh, nope, out there on A2. Yeah, it looks like A2 is now free. Looks like we've got another A220, the 300 variant right there at Alpha 4. Daniel, give you a little play-by-play, and there's the A220, and then also the 737-800, trying to get out both at the same time. Yeah. So the 220's headed to Boise for a quick flight, 1278. And also that 737 headed to Los Angeles. And hi to everybody who just tuned in. Friday night is all right for plane spotting. Our next arrival should be on the ground in the next 10 minutes. 4880, American 4880 to from Los Angeles on an E175. Then it looks like they're going to send UPS 2844. Typically, they'll send them to 16 left, but maybe we'll get lucky today and get a 767 on 16 right. Be here till about 7:30 or so for the next. So we just started, and knock on wood, wherever you are, technology holds up tonight. It's always playing a little bit of dice, a little bit of gambling. Which runway ATC is going to send the transcon or the transatlantic arrivals? 9 times out of 10, this is why I like North Flow at Salt Lake City, where they arrive on the 34s, because 99.9% of the time, all the transatlantic flights arrive on this side, and all the Eastern arrivals will arrive on 3-4 right. So most of them, that is. Yeah. Yeah, I like the old. I do like Daniel the new Neo. I'm a big fan of the Delta with that has the raccoon-like skin on the flight deck window. Very sharp. So hopefully we'll catch that A321 as well. Also, I mentioned it on the broadcast the other day, but how about United Airlines launching nonstop service from Newark, so basically New York City, all the way to Dubai? That's pretty cool. Something new. And thank you for the like. And if you're new to the channel, I encourage you to like and subscribe so that you'll know when and where we'll be broadcasting next as we look at that E175 arrive from Los Angeles. There's the American flag, the colors of American Eagle and American Airlines. Get another pushback. So we've got our A321. And then also our 737-900 as well. Looks like they are routing most of the departures to the east side. 12:55 here in Liverpool. Yeah, it's been pretty good the past couple of days. Hello, Owls FS, Owls S, sorry, Owls FS Dad. Let me try that again. There is not currently 757 for tonight. The 757 is routed usually, you know what, especially in the summertime, we may see this in the summer, arriving from Mexico City because of the altitude in Mexico City. And also, the 757 will come for UPS sometimes. And so we just need to be lookout. So I'll keep an eye out. In fact, we'll see what's ahead of us. It looks like they did route the UPS 767 from Louisville to our side here. So we may see him, depending on how heavy he is, pop up on one of our taxiways. Yep. Sometimes you'll see the 757 uh, come out here. It's not often, but sometimes. Let's see. So UP, the 787 is actually, let me check that. I thought that was UPS. I apologize, guys. That appears to be a Frontier flight from Denver. My apologies. I'll get a little rusty having a few days off. The A321 or the A324 Frontier. So let's take a look at. Well, now I'm just totally off because it's an American. Well, I need to go back to school. A320 arriving. So let's take a look see when KLM is arriving. And if you want to follow along on some of our arrivals and departures, encourage you. And also, we do have the sun on this side, so we got to watch out for that as well, as the sun hopefully will hide behind some of the clouds, but we know the sun sets in the west. All right. So let me clarify two things. Number one, hi, Fernando. Good to see you. Welcome in. So the KLM flight for UP is scheduled to arrive in about 40 minutes. UP. That is KLM flight 609 from Amsterdam. Scheduled estimated arrival around 6:30. We'll call it 6:30. It says 6:38, but 6:30 we'll go with. In the meantime, that was American 1871 from Phoenix on that Airbus A319. And then also, there's the UPS right in your screen right there. It was just a little off on the time. So there, that butte is a 767. And Owls FS Dad, I do not see any more 757s from UPS. Now, keep in mind, UPS runs only Monday through Friday. So if we want to catch a 757 from UPS, we'll probably have to be somewhere in the middle of the week. Daniel, I am sure on this one. You're right to question me. I'm a little rusty. But yes, that is a 767 for UPS from Louisville, just arriving on runway 16 right here on the east side of the airport. And Stephen in Liverpool, my man, Stephen Collins. Yeah, the next couple days should be pretty nice. I've mentioned it a few times, but I'll definitely mention it again here since you are on the other side of the Atlantic. The forecast for Monday is a couple of feet of snow in the mountains and at minimum. So, yeah, it's not over winter yet for us for some strange reason. So, yeah, we keep getting more snow. There's the UPS 767. We'll see if it takes full length here and goes all the way down taxiway. Let me catch up on the chat here too. Gerald, good to see you. I got that 767 there, and I'll keep an eye out for further ones. What's up, Billy Bull? Good to see you. Yeah, I know I've been recovering, getting healthier, so just happy to be back, almost full strength. So yeah, to run down the next hour of arrivals for us here on the east side, no, excuse me, west side. We're west side of Salt Lake City International Airport, and you're looking at the edge of Concourse A. Should be seeing Aeromexico from Guadalajara, Aeromexico 792 on an Embraer E190. That's a rare aircraft we see not too often here. So that's cool. And now we've got Southwest Airlines on a 737 MAX 8 approaching runway 16 right from Las Vegas. Thank you for the like and joining in. Encourage you to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. This will be broadcast 27, I believe. I was a little rusty in counting. Had a broadcast the other night, a Tuesday evening, but we'll be back this whole weekend, today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And 737 MAX 8 in from Las Vegas. Thanks for keeping an eye out for me, Gerald. I'm going to have to hire somebody soon, but before I can do that, I have to get a few more hours from YouTube so I can get some advertising revenue, eh? I heard Dalton Paulson told me he was coming yesterday, so I missed him yesterday, but hey, Micah, good to see you. Welcome in, man. We're just hanging here, almost back to full strength. I was a little bit under the weather, but glad to be back and back at it. So they are sending Delta 51, an A330-900. So the Neo. Looks like they're going to send them to the other side. So I'm crossing my fingers they'll still give me KLM and not break my heart. Oh, nice. Very cool, Micah. Very cool. Sweet, dude. That's awesome. Love to hear that. A little bit lighter night. How's things down at the ramp? We should do a live broadcast at the ramp one day. Actually, I've thought about that several times, but there's a couple things that I would need to obviously happen, including the police and the airport signing off on it and me getting a SIDA badge. So there's a few things, but so I'd have to do that for sure. But yeah, my Gerald, yeah, Salt Lake City is a Delta hub if you're just tuning in for those for the first time. So you're going to see predominantly a lot of Delta aircraft here. They go to a lot of destinations, and overall pretty good. Yeah, Micah, that sounds awesome. That sounds like a good evening for you. No flight till 9 p.m. That's got to be good. And the cool thing too is you probably don't get too many diversions because we're nowhere near an Alaska hub. So got that going for you because Boise is much closer to Seattle and Portland than we are. So not too bad. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So maybe I can send an email to the PR department. There's a lot more that would come with it, I think. But we'd have to get a higher strength connection for sure, unless we could piggyback off of the airport's Wi-Fi. So now, Micah, in fact, I won't say which airline, but I was recently hired by an airline. It's not Alaska, but had to turn down the job because it was potentially going to mess with my school schedule in the fall, and I would have still been on probation. And after two call outs, I guess you get fired or something like that. So I didn't want to mess with that. So yeah, a little different. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like the right kind of diversion that you would have. That would make sense. That would totally make sense. So, not. Oh man. Now, as a flight dispatcher, I actually um yep, sure does. I was a flight dispatcher for 4 years until this past December when I left my last airline to kind of pursue this, but also get ready for MBA school because I'd like to run an airline one day. So, yeah, but this has been great so far. A lot of fun. Lot of fun. Love it. Absolutely love it. I was sick for the last week, so I couldn't get out much. So, and hi to everybody who just tuned in. Encourage you to like and subscribe. Got a little break in the action here. Most of the departures here on Concourse A on the even gates. And it looks like the ATC is sending Delta 51, A330-900 Neo to 16 left. A little bit of a sad day. So I hope they'll be nice and send us KLM, or else I'm going to really cry. This is why, if you're plane spotting in Salt Lake, you really want north winds from the north, because it's much easier to guess arrivals. When it's south, it's kind of like uh, rolling the dice, if you will, since we're not too far from Wendover. Yeah. So dispatching was awesome, man. It certainly is stressful some days. Uh, other days it was totally calm, and you could just sit back and snack and just pay attention to your flights in the air, and nothing went wrong. But it was kind of an all or nothing job. There were some days where you would be constantly busy, nonstop, and you couldn't pee for like 4 hours. You had to be at your desk. You worked like, for my airlines, I worked a straight 10 hours. So no break. We worked at our desk. And hi to everybody who just tuned in. Encourage you to like and subscribe, by the way. But yeah, it was some days you couldn't get up from your desk because things were so busy, and you have a responsibility for the safety of the flight that you've planned and oversee. So you've got to monitor it, and then also pay attention for messages from the captain while he's on route or on the ground, and you have to deal with ATC. So there's a lot that comes with it. It's kind of crazy. Crazy. Yep. Billy Bull. I'm sorry you missed that one, man. That stinks. That's no good. Yes, 10 hours, 10 hours, no break. We would eat at our desk. That is 100% fact. Truth bomb. 4 hour breaks. Well, shoot, sounds like I need to come work with you, Micah. Uh, get me on board. I'll come jump on. I got experience. Heck yeah, dude. I'm there. I'll be there in a heartbeat. All right. So our next arrivals that we should see in the next 10 to 15 minutes include Delta 2971 from San Antonio on an Airbus A22100. Also Delta 1401 from Orlando to Salt Lake City on an A321. Okay, well, that's good to know, Micah. I will check it out, and I'm sure if there are people watching, they'll want to know that too. We do love talking aviation here, and I wouldn't be out here if I didn't love aviation. I mean, it's a pretty good night, and to your credit, Micah, you also have to deal with all the weather. You don't get to hide when it's snowing or raining or when it's 100 degrees. Sure, you get breaks, but you still have to deal with the weather. So it's pretty awesome job too for what you do. Mutually parted. That's what I did. We mutually parted. We'll call it Billy Bull. Good call. Oh, Micah. Yeah. I Uh-huh. Yep. That's right. That is right. Yep, that's exactly why. That's also another reason why I took another job. I was like, after standing out here broadcasting for just 2 hours and how miserable it was on some of this cold, snowy days, I said, there is no way I'm going to be a ramper anytime soon. So, yeah, I'm sure you're ready for t shirt weather. We all are. By the way, I heard there's another foot of snow coming our way, maybe. So, yeah, we'll see about that. So I'll cross my fingers for you, Micah. And every time a snowflake falls, we'll all think of Micah at Salt Lake City International and having to deal with all the weather conditions. And it's not an easy job. There are breaks and there's a lot of fun that comes with it. But you also have, as a ramper, you have to be in small spaces, getting the bags. You have to do a lot of different things, and especially dealing with the weather. So yeah, I know it just doesn't stop. So I thought I had an agreement with Mother Nature that said no more snow after March 31st. And then she broke her promise already. Hi, everyone who's just tuning in. By the way, my name is Pip, and this is PPL, Pip's Plane Spotting Live. This is episode or broadcast number, we'll call it 27. We'll say 27. And we're from Salt Lake City International Airport, which is my home base, but we do like to get out and travel. So whenever we get the opportunity, we will. We've already been to Las Vegas, Phoenix, Denver, Aspen, and Eagle County, Colorado. You'll see live broadcasts from all those places on my channel under the live section, and we'll be traveling more. So we check out the A220-100 inbound that we expected to see as the sun breaks out of the clouds, gives us a nice paint shine. Well, thank you. Appreciate Micah having you tune in. It's great to have you on board and actually have you as one of our peoples right here working hard at Salt Lake City International Airport. We'll have to figure out a time. Maybe you can come on the broadcast and people can ask you questions. That's something I want to do. I've been talking with both avionics, airplane techs, and also pilots, and so would love to have a ramper. So hopefully we can figure something out because that would be pretty awesome. And hi, everybody who just tuned in. We're live from Salt Lake City International Airport on the west side of the airport. We're looking at Concourse A on the south side. Those are even gates, A20 through 26. Waiting on our next Delta arrival. Yeah, dude, Michael will definitely have to figure it out. That'll be cool. Um, if you want, the easiest way, and I'll put my email out there. And if anybody else has any other questions or wants to talk to aviation, love doing it. And I will give me just a second here, and I'll put my email. out there, so you guys can email me with any questions or whatever. Here's our A321 coming in. Yeah, man. I caught Micah. By the way, I caught your comment about your tugs having no roof. I'm sorry. Guess you got to wear like a football helmet or something, or like a motorcycle helmet with a windscreen. Yeah, Daniel. Sorry, and I saw your question about Las Vegas. So, it was probably about a month ago. It was around Valentine's Day, in fact. So about a month ago. And at the time, we didn't have the best connection, so the broadcast looks clear but kind of choppy. And hopefully, the next time we go down, it'll sound and look a little bit clearer. So, yep, it was about a month ago, Daniel. Hey, Chris, good to see you too. Glad to be back. Okay, so my email, if you guys want to get in touch with me or have an aviation question or anything, uh, it's super easy. It should be pips, planespottinglive at gmail.com. So that's PIPS, planespottinglive at gmail.com. So it's right there in the chat. So if you want to shoot an email out, and yeah, Mike, if you get a chance, shoot me an email and see if we can work something out. And that's something hopefully I'll get to do more when we're traveling is talk to different people on the road, and that's half the fun. So yeah, Daniel, and I'm really excited about going to Las Vegas because a lot of the seasonal Atlantic flights are back or going to be back in the next month. So other airlines that you don't see during the wintertime. For example, Condor, I think, is coming back soon. Eurowings. Then also Edelweiss from Switzerland, from Zurich. They fly into Las Vegas seasonally. So that's pretty cool. And I like that a lot. So I'm going to slowly pan the camera to the right so I don't get too much sun in your face. But here we've got our arrival inbound, looking for a gate, waiting for our wing walkers. Way more safe. Absolutely 1000% without question. Great question, Chris. It is way more safe than it was 10 to 15 years ago. Absolutely without question. I was actually a member of the media many years ago. I was a reporter, so I was a radio reporter. I actually got my bachelor's degree in journalism, but I absolutely 150,000% believe aviation is way more safer than 10, 15 years ago. So we're obviously focused on that. That's our number one goal is safety. Anything short of that is unacceptable. So, but without question, yeah, I I don't think for a second or second guess when I fly. So let me put it that way. So I love where we're at in aviation and where we're headed. I may have to do that, Billy Bull. Thanks, appreciate it. I would also say too that I've flown the 737 Max several times and it's perfect. Flies just like a 737 should. In fact, um, we haven't talked about it a whole lot. But yeah, it's a great time to be in aviation right now. I know it's a little challenging with the economy here in the United States, so I don't know that they're doing the hiring level that they should. But overall, it really is a great time to be alive and to fly. I should my biggest regret in life is probably twofold. Number one, that I didn't try harder in high school, and number two, that I didn't get a job in aviation sooner. Those are probably my two biggest regrets because I love it. It's great and being out here. So, Billy Bull, you're the man. Looks like Got that Delta arrival. And I was zooming in on that screen. See how it says it gives you automatic directions right there? So some of the airports have screens for the pilots. So they have radar sensors that will show them when they can slow down and when they need to stop. So pretty cool. Wow, Micah, you started young. Good job. Smart man. Smart man. Got the old fashioned marshaling going on. Very cool. Now, Micah, are you guys union or just at will hire? And Daniel, so that screen was telling the pilots when they were blocking into the gate when they needed to slow down or if they needed to speed up or stop so they didn't run into anything. So, yeah, that's an option for some gates. It gives them a screen of, backup, forward. Okay. Good to know, Micah. Yeah, it's a good option sometimes. Checking out that looks like 737. But I'm sure Micah does an excellent job keeping our planes safe so they don't run into any other planes or things, and I think Micah, you could probably say better than me that at least the airport has the new airport and you know it better because the old airport used to be like, for better or for worse, at least for planes, there's a lot of space at the new airport. And hi to everybody who just tuned in. I am Pip. Encourage you to like and subscribe so that way you can see when and where we'll be broadcasting next from. And a happy Friday evening to everyone. And we are broadcasting live from Salt Lake City International Airport. All right, I do see KLM 609 on descent, and I'm hopeful it's at 15,000 feet, but right now it's looking like it'll go to 16 left, which breaks my heart. Yeah, that's so much better, I'm sure, Micah, for sure. So, yeah, as you know, it's always fun to walk from Concourse A to Concourse B, but there are some advantages that maybe most people don't realize, but they don't realize them because they have to walk a mile to get to their gates. But, anyways, I digress. Well, I'm really hurt that KLM may not be, and you may wonder, well, don't you have a ATC scanner? I do not yet. So as soon as I get the scanner, that will help me a lot, but that costs money, and so we got to save up for that. So right now, my primarily way of spotting and keeping a track of aircraft is right now through Flight Radar 24. It's a free app, or you can purchase the gold version. I think it's like $4 a month. You buy it all at once, so you can buy it all at once, or you can do it monthly, and it's like $4. So I would recommend it because it gets rid of the ads, of course, but also gives you some added information, and really, it's a really good app. So okay, I'll have to check that out. Because yeah, before Micah, I was using liveatc.net, but I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the recommendation. And that's the other thing. The nice thing is, sure, plane spotting is fun and all the live streams, but hopefully my stream is a little bit different. Then I've got some knowledge to pass along to everybody, and we can have people on talk about aviation and give you more insight and knowledge. So hopefully that makes things a little bit different and unique. But yeah, it appears that unless a sudden turn of fate, they're going to send KLM to 16 left, which makes me a little sad. But sometimes you take a guess. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So, UP, I apologize. I guessed wrong. But here you have this beautiful view of Concourse A and most of the arrivals, just not the transatlantic. No, 16 left is just on the other side of the airport, so we won't get a good view of the Dreamliner landing. That's all. Because you're pretty familiar, Daniel, with Salt Lake Airport. So the runways are split, right? You got one runway on this side that we're looking at, which is 16 right, and then two runways on the left side, which are 16 left and 17. So I don't have two cameras yet where I can be on both runways. That would be really cool. But that's basically why there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I would prefer that ATC send like all the Airbus, everything to my side, right? Because that's what I'm all about. I'm pretty selfish. What can I say? But hi, everyone. I am Pip. Encourage you to like and subscribe. This is PPL, Pip's Plane Spotting Live. I'll be here until 7:30, a little past 7:30. I know. ATC, I've not built friendships with them yet, Daniel, where I can just text them. And probably they're not allowed to have their cell phones when they're working either. So I'd have to text them in advance and be like, um, could you do me a favor? When that KLM flight comes in, could you route it to this side? Don't know if I have that much clout yet. Hopefully one day, though. One day, perhaps. A lot of times, uh, Salt Lake's kind of unique in Delta has so many gates that it's a little bit different. But a lot of airports, they ATC will route the planes typically a good majority of the runway most favorable to them getting to their gate quicker. So let's say, for example, so our concourse right here. Oh, he works in Tracon. See, Micah, you got all the connections, man. You're my main squeeze. You're my aviation main squeeze, Micah. And yeah, I have all the numbers to Tracons throughout the country, but they'll be like, "Why are you calling me from Salt Lake? And who are you?" But we'll figure that out. But like I was saying, so like for example, on this concourse, concourse A, let's say, so we have these gates right here that just for example, let's just say alpha 2, alpha 4, and alpha 6. So these three gates, and alpha 2 is for United, alpha 4 is for Delta, and alpha 6 is for American. If I have an American flight coming in from, let's say, Chicago. They may route. There's a good possibility that ATC is going to route them to land on runway 16 right or 16, yeah, on this side because their gate is closer. So, they could just get off the runway here, and just roll down, get off that high speed taxi, and then just come in off that runway and taxiway right there, and then just block right into their gate. So it saves them time. So typically ATC will do that. It's not always the case, and so that's why sometimes it's difficult to predict. But a lot of times, if you're smart, you'll know that most of the time, if you were looking for a certain airplane, a lot of the airports with multiple runways, you know which one ATC is going to give them based on their arrival and their star and their gate. So, little fun info for you. Hey, Justin, I agree. Good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. And sorry I've been mostly absent and sick and all that jazz. But you know, such is life. But good to be with you, and I'm excited to be out the whole weekend, my friend. That's very exciting. That's what I'm most excited about. Is like I'm getting back to health, got some antibiotics, and should have a good weekend for plane spotting before the snow comes in. Right? As if we didn't have enough, right? And met some new cool people tonight. So pretty awesome. And if you're new to the channel, don't be shy. We have people from all over who watch, and we love people from all countries. So don't if you don't know English that well, that's okay. You can still say hi and say where you're from because we'd love to hear that. Yeah, Justin, what are you up to tonight? Good to see you, and I'm just glad to be back. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Thanks for saying hi, Mark. Welcome in, and encourage you to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll typically put out a video the day of or the evening before when and where we'll be broadcasting next. I know. I was here last year too, Micah. I agree with you wholeheartedly because I like to ride my bicycle just like Queen, and I don't have the winter clothing for it yet. So glad to have you back home. LA, I'm sure was nice, Justin. But I'm sure it's glad to be back home as well. The mountains are probably much prettier and a little less congested, right? Yeah, Mark, great question. So Salt Lake is a fairly busy airport. They are a hub for Delta Airlines. So Delta runs predominantly the majority of flights. I would probably say, let's call it 70% of the flights out of here. So it's a hub for Delta Airlines out here in the West in Salt Lake City. And I want to say before the pandemic, so in 2019, the last full year when air travel wasn't really affected, there was 26 million passengers who came through the airport, either were arriving or departing. So it's a fairly busy airport. I would probably say in the top 40 busiest airports in America, and it continues to grow. And Delta actually just signed a long-term lease for um, until 2043 or 2053, and they plan to grow here as well. So, and Salt Lake, this new iteration, this new building, um, there are two concourses, and you actually only see half of this on this side. Uh, this airport is brand new, about 3 years old. So, great question. Thank you for asking. Yeah, and a bit of good news. It looks like ATC heard my whining and sent me KLM 609 from Amsterdam. So that is some fantastic news. I hope UP's still on. Hope I didn't scare him away. And see, this is why I need a scanner. And thanks to Micah, I may have to find out a new app and a new channel. Yep, looks beautiful. Great to have the Dreamliner back here in Salt Lake City. Because Daniel, it's only a seasonal route that they do. So from October to late March, KLM doesn't come here. It's only summer and spring seasonal. So I'm personally thrilled to have it back. Yeah. So we'll see how heavy it is. See if it does a full length landing. But I'm just thrilled to have it. Thrilled to have KLM on our program this evening. Welcome in. Can kind of see the blue reflection off the sunset here in the west. See how far it goes down. Yep, there she is, making an appearance. Yeah, I just heard it, Micah. I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, what exactly is going on there? Not on my level. I was looking. I did not see them on my parking garage level, Micah. Well, that is some fabulous news. We didn't get to see him come all the way down, but glad we sure caught the KLM. It is their first week back. Sure is. Sure is, Micah. Absolutely. Glad that ATC heard my pleas because, they know how big of a aviation nut I am and how popular my channel is, right? Very fortunate. Yeah. But a good night to have them inbound. Next time, KLM will be here on Sunday evening around 7 o'clock. So if you are in the Salt Lake area and have the night off, maybe if the winds are favorable to the right runway, you may want to stop on by. Plus, that was nice. The sun wasn't on full blast. It's kind of behind the clouds. All right, now that KLM has arrived, our next arrival of interest will be Delta Connection 4055 on an Embraer E175 from Colorado Springs. Then Aero Mexico Connect 792 on an Embraer E190, a plane we don't see too often. So that'll be cool. Looks like they've got them rounded for 16 right. So we'll see what the action holds. And then we've got a tiny Beechcraft 1900C from Elko, Nevada, the cargo run on the old Beechcraft. The tried and true single. I think they're single pilot too. So we'll just keep our focus in right there to the arrival path. And Micah, glad to meet you, of course, and glad I could bring you fortunate. I think it was your good vibes. You must have sent a text last minute to Traycon. So sweet, dude. Glad you could tune in. Yeah, grab that video. And of course, Daniel, stay safe out there. And Justin, good to have you back. By the way, um, By the way, for those of you who are new to the broadcast, I've said it before and I'll say it every time because somebody new from Salt Lake tunes into the newscast or not newscast, broadcast, and they are not aware that there is a nature trail on the south side of Salt Lake International Airport that actually runs the entire length of the airport property. So you can like walk from one side to the other. I think it's about 2.5 miles long, but you can see planes fly right over your head. So, and I don't know if everybody knows that. Micah, I didn't know if you knew that, but every time we broadcast from here, somebody new from Salt Lake City tunes in, and they were not aware of that. So I always like to bring that up. Because if you like plane spotting, that trail is a great opportunity. Yeah, I figured you did. I figured you did, but in case you didn't, but like I said, there usually is somebody already new on the broadcast. So I always like to mention it. That's actually and the police are pretty laid back and pretty cool about things as long as you stay out of the restricted areas, they usually leave you alone. So that's another thing I like about Salt Lake too. But yeah, for me, for cycling, I love going on the trail too because it combines two of my favorite things. The only thing, Micah, I wish there was more of, and thank you for the like and the subscribe, welcome in. The only thing I wish Micah and everyone else from Salt Lake and who's been here is that there were more restaurants nearby. Like, cause if you go west towards all the hotels, there's like a Subway, and that's it. And then, as you know, Micah, the gas station Costa Vida on airport property. And I guess really it's not too far away like the Arby's and the Burger King and the McDonald's off South Temple, but it's not like the best area. So, yeah, and Burger King, you're right. Absolutely right. Absolutely. So, but regardless, that's the only thing I would change other than the walk. All right, so there we see Delta 4004 just arriving on the Embraer E175. Next up, we should be seeing our Aeromexico Connect from Guadalajara shortly, which is exciting because that usually would arrive during the winter, during like 10 or 11 in the morning. So good to see him in the evening. I agree. Amen, brother. I agree. 1000%. Like I was totally on board with Cafe Rio. Okay. Panera, even maybe. And I understand squatters, why they're there. And that makes total sense. But then it's like, huh? Where, who are you? So yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Micah. Plus, maybe something a little more affordable, right? Because it's not like airline employees, other than the pilots, make the best money in the world. And everyone who just tuned in got a great turnout tonight. Didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I've got close to 50 and hopefully many more because we still got about another hour or so. So I encourage you to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Pip, and this is my home airport in Salt Lake City, but we do like to travel and get out. So this is episode 27, and we'll be broadcasting this entire weekend. Where we'll be it's still up in the air because Las Vegas is 6 hours away, and by driving, and Boise is 5, and so who knows? We may sneak somewhere, or we may hang close to home. But I should say, I am pleased to have you, and everybody here in our chat is also pleased to have you on board. If you're new to the channel, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Yep, I am tired of it too. I agree. And that's even with the discount you get. And here's the other thing. I I was blown away by this, and tell me, Micah, if this is true for you, because I worked for Envoy and Breeze when I would fly through Salt Lake. Uh, like Cafe Rio doesn't do the employee discount or the crew discount anymore. So I would used to show them my crew badge when I was working, and they would give me a discount. And then, like November or October, when I went through, they're like, "No, we don't do that anymore." I'm like, "What?" So you can tell me if that's true or if maybe they just didn't like Breeze or something. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I know Maverick always does. Maverick's always good about it. So they're super cool. They're in Concourse B, on the other end. They're super cool about it. But yeah, they're like the Cafe Rio in Concourse A no, we don't do that anymore. Biggest bummer of the day. Biggest bummer of the day. I did not know that. I wasn't sure. Thank you for letting me know, Micah. That is good to know. I didn't know if it was like a separate entity that they would do that because it's also a gas station, but that's very cool. I'm glad to hear that. And I'll let my other aviation friends know because, as you know, Breeze is located here in Salt Lake City. So I worked there for a while. And so I've got a lot of friends who still work there, a lot of good people who work there. And I will let them know. Yeah, we get a little bit closer each week, right? To the other half of Concourse A opening up. We're all waiting. People keep asking me, when is it going to open? When is it going to open? I'm like, I don't know. So, yeah, we're a little bit closer each week, which is exciting. Take a moment here to see what our next hour looks like here as far as arrivals. Got some good stuff already arrived. And Dalton, I hope you're tuning in because we had the KLM arrival on our side. Thank you very much. And so 7 o'clock hour tends to be a little bit quieter. That's all right. We still should expect Las Vegas Spirit 423 from Las Vegas on an A320. Also should expect United Express 4763 and a lot of cargo from the nether regions. United Express 4805 on an E175. Chicago American Airlines 3136 on a CRJ 700. And we'll see how the rest of the evening goes. And honestly, Micah, I haven't had a chance to go to B since I've been out of the aviation game and back in school for tracks. I'm going to be a tracks operator, hopefully, if they see that I functional enough. So, but I have not had a chance because, and you know this, because you can see A from the east side, which is probably where we'll be broadcasting if we don't go on the road. But the east side there and looking towards the mountains, you can see Concourse A, but it always blocks Concourse B. But I'm sure they're probably trying to move along fast. That's pretty wild. And if you're just tuning in, encourage you to like and subscribe, join the broadcast, say hi, and love that you are joining us here on a very lovely evening here in Salt Lake City. We are facing northwest right now, and we're on the facing the west side of the airport with just one runway on the west side of the airport. That is 16 right, 34 left. The other side's got two runways that are parallel, 1735 and 16 left, 34 right. Sounds like they want to get this project done sooner than later, and I don't blame them. I think their number one priority should be, without question, the walkway to Concourse B straight out of security. And that may have to do with like what they're able to get in because of the supply chain. So the easy stuff is probably a little bit easier. So that could be it too. I would not. It's a good point. Going to pan to the left here, folks. As we're here on a Friday evening in Salt Lake City, local time is 6:50 p.m. And if you're in Zulu time, 0050 Zulu. So almost 1 o'clock Zulu. There are the mountains to the west. The east looks even more magical if you're new to the broadcast. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear the new tunnel is looking good. Trust, that everyone complains about having to walk so far. So that's great to hear, Micah. You're the main squeeze. You're the squeeze of SLC, dude. You're the inside source that we can't officially quote, but we'll just say sources say the new tunnel is looking good. So that makes me sound even more professional and legitimate, saying I've got an inside source at the airport that says the new tunnel is looking good. These are the Ochre Mountains, by the way, and still getting quite a bit of snow here in Salt Lake City. But yes, we all know that we have a beautiful landscape, and so feel free to ogle if you're in the middle of the plains or wherever you might be, because we do have good scenery at least. And hi, everybody who just tuned in, and thank you for subscribing. It's just me, one guy with aviation experience and a camera, giving you Salt Lake City Airport broadcasting live. Amen to that. Listen, here's the thing. I have a truck, I have four-wheel drive. I have boots. I do not I like the snow, but when there's too much of it over and over again for the last 4 months, it gets a little old. However, I will 1000% trade the snow this year for inversion any day because it truly is. It's like the entire Salt Lake Valley just farted in the atmosphere, Micah. So I will trade that any day. Yeah, I went to Weber State from 2005 to 2008, and I remember it back then, and it's just gotten worse. So it's seriously like the entire valley just farted all at once. So I'm all for anything that can mitigate that. Elk Ray, ahoy, man! What's happening? I didn't know if you'd be working tonight, but you know, would love to have you out here. Come hang with us. Don't be shy. But Elkray, I know you're a shy man. That's okay. But we'll get you out here eventually. Yeah, Daniel, I'll be live tomorrow. Don't know where yet. I wanted to look at a couple things because here's what's going to happen. I am going to go to one of two places tomorrow. I'm either going to go to Las Vegas or I'm going to stay here in Salt Lake City. So, I see. I got you, Elkray. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm either going to do Las Vegas or be here in Salt Lake City the whole weekend. So, regardless of where I'm at, yes, I'll be broadcasting live. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be Las Vegas or if it's going to be Salt Lake City. So, yes, Daniel, absolutely. And there we see our CRJ 700 American Airlines Flight 3136 from Chicago. Realistically, it's about, I want to say about 6 hours. You can go 80 miles per hour on some of the highways in southern Utah. But since I'm a cheapskate, I'm one of those fuel savings guys, so I drive a little bit slower and try and draft behind a semi whenever possible. So you probably want to add on an extra half hour for me. So it's about 6 hours, I'd say, overall. Maybe a little less if you can push it 80, 85. If you can do that, you're down to like close to 5.5 hours. So just so you're aware. And if I do go down to Vegas, it will definitely be, it'll either be a Las Vegas weekend, 2 days of plane spotting in Vegas or 2 days in Salt Lake. So, because I'll probably stay the night or do something there. But we'll see. So I hope that helps give a little bit of idea, either Las Vegas or Salt Lake this weekend. Man, I've got to look at the weather to see when the snow is supposed to roll in on Sunday or Sunday evening, and a few other things. But that's kind of what my thought is. So I got to look at the weather first and see if I have any money. Because right now I don't. So maybe it just magically appeared in my account. The stream tomorrow. Excellent question, Daniel. As we look at the 737-800 arriving from Denver from Southwest Airlines. It'll probably be for Salt Lake City. The stream will be tomorrow. Let me get back to you that in about 5 minutes. I want to look at something real quick. So give me about 5 minutes, Daniel, and I will let you know. So I'm going to catch this little 737 action from Southwest Airlines. Elcray, by the way, for those who are tuning in for the first time, Elcray is one of my favorite people because we used to work together and he's a super smart guy. So I try and get him to come on. He's super shy, but he's probably one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet. And he has a potato tattooed on his arm, which is pretty cool. I hope I'm not saying too much, Elcray, because I know you like to throw me under the bus. Yes, I have, Stephen. Yeah, she's the talk of the town in Park City with her trial. Um, yeah, the newspapers have been all, and the news TV stations have been all up in Park City, keeping track of Gwyneth Paltrow and her court case for sure. I have not seen her yet. I have a guess that she was probably staying at like the Ritz Carlton or the St. Regis in Park City, so she probably didn't make her way out of the down here in the valley. But she is Micah. Yeah. So my understanding it's not a criminal case. I believe it's a civil case seeking damages. The plaintiff is seeking damages for due to a skiing accident. I don't know all the parameters of it offhand, but yeah, uh, they were having trial. I think the trial is being held in Summit County, which is where Park City, the county seat is. So. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, she was in here this week. Hey, Jeffrey. Oh, knowing this great. Your friends live in Sandy. Excellent. Sandy's a great place to be in, close to the mountains. Great. Well, love having you, man. Thank you for saying hi. That's fantastic. It's a nice evening out here. Um, that's probably true. Micah, she may be countersuing for $1. That doesn't sound too off. Um, so give me a second here, folks. I know Daniel. Uh, he works sometimes on Saturday, so I want to see give him an update on when we might be streaming. So give me one moment here. I'm going to step off the mic for a second. All right. So Jeffrey, welcome back from India on Air India, 2 a.m. My goodness. Well, thanks for saying hi. I hope the jet lag isn't too bad, first off. Second, Stephen, thanks for the update on Gwyneth Paltrow. Here's what I will say. I didn't catch the entire um the trial really, but here's what I will say is that she they had a photo of her in the newspaper, and I think she said something like, as she was passing by the plaintiff, she says, "I hope you feel better soon or get better soon," something like that. So that would make sense. Um, but yeah, it's a good question. That is a good question, Daniel. I would also like to know, Jeffrey, uh, was it a Dreamliner on Air India? And also, Daniel, if we do broadcast tomorrow in Salt Lake, it will probably start around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe a little bit earlier, 10:30, 10:30, 11, right around there. So I hope that helps. As the sun starts to set here in Salt Lake City, believe Naval Observatory is calling it 7:51 for official sunset here as we look towards the northwest. Now that's an aircraft, Daniel. Funny you bring that up. Um, don't know on Vegas. Can't tell you on Vegas because there's still a lot of things in the air. Just have to put, like I said, that's one of the reasons I'll put out the videos is to let you know when and where. I know it'll be a little bit last minute, but don't know on Vegas quite yet. So I can't commit to that. But I can commit if we do stay in Salt Lake tonight or tomorrow. It'll be around 10:30, 11 tomorrow. And I'll put out a video in the morning as well. If we do Salt Lake or Las Vegas, regardless, I'll put out a video. Just don't know what time officially we'll get to Las Vegas. And even if I can, um, rent a car or whatnot. So still kind of up in the air on that. Well, it sounds like Park City treated her right then. Maybe she's celebrating, maybe in I don't know. Maybe celebrating at Ruth Chris or something, or and I don't know Park City that well. I know it a little bit, but it's been a while since I've been back there. The best time to come to Park City if you're looking to avoid the crowds, is in the spring and summertime or fall. It's not in the wintertime. I know that much. So I have not been to Park City since probably last August. So it's been a little bit. And thank you for the like and welcome in. I am Pip, and you are watching PPL, Pip's Plane Spotting Live from Salt Lake City International Airport. Encourage you to like and subscribe so that you'll know when and where we're broadcast next. You're currently looking at Concourse A on the south side, the even gates. So that's A2 through, I believe, 26. That's what we're looking at right now. Zooming in on a 737-900 series for Delta. Salt Lake City is a hub for Delta Airlines, so that's why you do see a lot of Delta traffic. If you're new to the channel, there we see an A321. We'll be broadcasting close to another half hour or so. So feel free to say hi if you're just checking in. We'd love to have you join the broadcast. Some of the highlights of tonight's broadcast include KLM arriving about 6:40, so about 25 minutes ago on the broadcast. And then also Aero Mexico 25 minutes ago. And what was the other thing that I was surprised about? I don't know, probably just my good looks at the beginning of the broadcast. So tune in for that. I think it goes so it goes from A20 or A2, Daniel, to all the way up to, so if I'm going right here, the bridge is in the way, so you can't see them, but they're still there. So you can see how the bridge kind of blocks everything, but they're still there. So you can see if we zoom in slowly. You can see that one. But yeah, the bridge blocks the rest of it. So, but overall, yep, they're all in there. So you see A18, A20, and then it just goes on from there. So. oh, oh, is that right? We're close. We're close to laugh territory there, Micah. That's awesome. I guess. Well, that's fantastic. That's what we love to hear. See, that's another reason I was like, I don't know about ramp, because if it's in seniority, the low guy in the totem pole, which would have been me, would have been always dumping the laughs as we see our United Express arriving from Houston. Very cool, Jeffrey. A Dreamliner. Very cool. I've always wanted to catch one of those. I like to do plane spotting, obviously, in photography. Have not caught yet a Air India Dreamliner and would like to. So hopefully soon. So thank you, Michael. That is a disgusting fun fact. So that's kind of cool. And James, yes, Western Airlines sure did have the hub at SLC. That is excellent background knowledge. So everybody, if you're in the chat or watching, James made a great point. So Delta Western Airlines, many years ago, Western Airlines had a hub in Salt Lake City, and Delta just bought them. So that's why it's now a Delta hub. But that was many years ago. So James makes a great point, and that was the old Salt Lake City airport many years ago. There's an Embraer E175. Looks like it's been flown a lot. Certainly needs a wash. Makes perfect sense to me, Jeffrey. Great place to get a connection. Now I know Chicago can't have weather sometimes, but Chicago is home to me. That's where I grew up as a kid until my early 20s. So O'Hare is close to my heart. And thanks for the like and for subscribing. And but yeah, Chicago O'Hare is close to my heart, and so Salt Lake's also close to my heart. And yeah, Mike is that's fortunate. You, Micah, if you got to get permission from your management to do a video, and maybe I can join with you to explain the process of what it is to empty a lab. Because I know what the process is, but it'd be hilarious to kind of film it and see and put a mic on you. Just so that would actually be pretty cool. Oh, nice, Blaza. Very cool, dude. Well, I hope you enjoyed the stay there. Yeah, no, I know I know, Daniel. They do, they do. It's not like they, you know, it's a little bit different, but there is a proper way to clean out a lav. That is correct. So laboratory. When we say laboratory here in the United States, we mean the toilet on the airplane. For those who may be going overseas. What? I did not, Jeffrey. I did not, and I try and stay up on aviation news. I didn't know there's a passenger on a flight now. I'm going to have to look that up. That's crazy, Jeffrey. Well, let's see what we can find out on that. A little research. Yep. It's crazy stuff, man. I do not know what we're doing in this world sometimes. Just common sense. All right. So Jeffrey brought up the story about this passenger who opened the door just before departing. This is from my Chicago affiliates here in ABC 7 in Chicago. But yeah, Jeffrey, here's the story right here. Crazy. Yeah, we've got a little bit of downtime, so some good stories to be had here as we're waiting for more arrivals from the 6 o'clock hour or 7 o'clock here in Salt Lake City. Oh my gosh. Gross, Micah. That is disgusting. That is seriously the worst. I have I've counted at least no less than 4 stories. This will be five. 5 stories of people who have had fecal matter and lab matter and juice um, fall on them from the lab. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. That's. I hope you had your PPE on, your PPE, your personal protective equipment. I'm sure you did take a super long shower. Hey, ARB. Well, hello. Thanks so much for the subscription. Welcome in. Now, we're here in Salt Lake City International Airport. We'll be here. We started the broadcast about an hour and a half ago, and we'll be here close till 8 o'clock, and then we'll be on the air tomorrow and Sunday. I just don't know where from. It'll either be Las Vegas or Salt Lake City, depending on how much money is left in my checking account. So, welcome in. Thank you so much. Micah, your story illustrates one of the many reasons I um, see, because as a flight dispatcher, you hear all those stories from your captains you're working with or via ACARS. and you're like, I'm going hard pass on the ramp. Brazil, excellent. Well, I'm glad you found the channel, and um, I don't know too much Portuguese, but bom dia, and obrigado. That's about all I know. But my parents lived in Porto Alegre for 2 years, so they didn't teach me too much. Welcome in, ERB from Brazil, Brasil, Portuguese. There's our CRJ2. Yeah, actually looks like 700. Rhyme from Denver. Micah. See, we should write a book. You could join the website. 60 miles from Porto Alegre. Outstanding. Well, awesome. See, this is a great thing. Aviation brings all sorts of people together, and it's just a lot of fun. And we're here in Salt Lake City, and I am Pip. So that's awesome, ERB. It is a super fun job, and I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Working in aviation is a great field, and I loved being a flight dispatcher, even though it gets crazy sometimes, and your phone just doesn't want to stop ringing. You're like, stop it. Nope. All right, so we're looking currently at Spirit Airlines 423 inbound from Las Vegas, making its final approach to runway 16 right. Yep, I agree, ERB. It'll be very cool. Hopefully, I'll get to go all over the world and plane spot. I agree, man. That's what I like about aviation. We're all in it for the same thing. Sounds like, Micah, you need to start your own channel. You can just do like, okay, guys, on today's episode of Rampin' with Micah, I got pooped on today. Yeah, I know. I know there's some kind of some security things with it, but maybe I can sweet talk your manager or the airport, Micah, help you out because that would be fun. Plus, it's educational. I mean, I would love to learn more. All right, Jeffrey, great question. So, can Salt Lake accommodate 747s? Uh, no, they cannot. They cannot accommodate seven. And Micah, you can confirm this too. Uh, Cray, you pooch. Thank you, Cray. That was great. You always time it so well. We can? Okay. See, now here's the question. Which gates, Micah? And for those who don't know, Micah is a ramper here at Salt Lake City International. I thought we couldn't because, and here's the thing, we could maybe do like an FBO, but I don't know like a direct gate because doesn't the 747 usually need two jet bridges, Micah? Okay, cool. Well, there you go, Jeffrey. Micah, straight from the horse's mouth. I have never seen a 747 here in Salt Lake City. I'll put it that way, Jeffrey. And I'm so glad Micah was here to clarify. So gates A25, A21, and A17 can do that. Fair enough. See, this is why I do this because I don't know everything. I didn't even know. I figured they were going to plan because especially with how they plan the airport that it may not be possible. However, Micah, that would make total sense because a lot of those gates, that's where they do the international arrivals anyways, so they would go straight through customs. So that would make sense. But I've never Jeffrey's seen a 747, but Micah says here at the New Salt Lake City International Airport, we can. So I'm going to defer to Micah since he's a ramper and knows better than me. So thank you, Micah. That's good. See, this is great information. Appreciate it, my friend. And yes, I appreciate the mountains. ERB, I had nothing to do with the scenery, though. You're gonna have to give a shout out to the man upstairs for the scenery and all the snow. They're always expanding Salt Lake City International. James, good to see you, by the way. And I learned something new today. Thanks, Micah. Once again, my unnamed source providing me with inside information. That's yeah, forget about. Well, thanks a lot, Micah. Now it's like broadcasting with Micah and Pip. Dang, man. Way to show me up. I just want you to know that I know a lot about being a pilot and a flight dispatcher. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks a lot, Micah. God, I'm a nobody now. But yeah, so for the last half hour, if anybody wants to ask Micah questions, he's a ramper here at Salt Lake City International. And we'll just call this I don't know. What do you want to call it, Micah? It's your channel now. However, all joking aside, it is great to meet people, new people every day. And the best part is this is what I want from the channel is like to educate people, to inform people, because that's where I think I like my channel the best because it provides both information and entertainment at the same time. So, yes, I know, Jeffrey. I was giving Mike a little bit of a hard time, and no, but it's awesome. That's the stuff I like. Is great information like that because I had no idea. Hopefully, if we can, and here's the other thing, folks. I invited Micah to be on guest broadcast one day, and so hopefully we can make that happen, and that'll be super cool. Right now, I only have my one microphone, so he'll be in charge of the microphone, and I will take care of the camera work, and you can ask him questions or whatever. So we'll set that up. We were talking about it too, and also Elcray Elcray, who's here on the chat as well, also doing some work. He is a genius when it comes to avionics and aviation maintenance. So we're hoping that we can also get him on the channel to ask questions about being a mechanic. And yes, they are A321s. However, they are not A321 Neos. Mark, this is actually the old generation of the Neo, or the Neo, the old A321. Um, and the other one is a 737. But we do get, Mark, great question. We do get a lot of A321 Neos in here, predominantly through Delta. However, American has started flying some of their A321 Neos from Miami and Philadelphia in here as well, in Salt Lake City. So, yes, we do have an abundance of them. Let me put it that way. And the A321 Neos, we also get the A320 Neos from both Spirit Airlines and Frontier. And I think that's it. I'll have to think about that. Well, there you go. Thank you for confirming that. So that is good to know. That would make sense in one of the one spots. Okay, and so Micah, This will be a great opportunity for you to explain what a RON is. What does RON mean? So you see here, Micah in the chat says, um, and ERB can answer, Micah can answer that one too for you. So, Micah, if you want to explain answer both those questions, because actually those will both pertain, and you would be able to answer them. All right, so remain overnight. So RON stands for RON, and the chat stands for remain overnight. That's a lingo that people will use in the aviation world for RON. So it just means remain overnight. That plane will RON in Salt Lake City. So it's that plane will remain overnight in Salt Lake City. So yeah. And then since Micah, you work for Alaska, um, there you go. So ERB, Micah says, and everyone else that get about 18 flights a day in Salt Lake City. Yes, thank you very much, Micah. Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. It's like Family Feud. Good answer. All right, so James, your question, Eastern Airlines. Um, here is the thing with Eastern. So I guess I actually have this a couple. Who else asked me about it? Because they're located in Wayne, Pennsylvania. Is that right, James? So that's fairly close to where you're at. And Jeffrey, I do want to get to London soon and do a live broadcast. That'd be epic. That would be epic. So James, on Eastern, here's the only thing I would say about Eastern Airlines is they they have some scheduled service, but it's really more charter based somewhat. And it would be a great place. Here's what I would say that you would have going for you in Eastern. Number one, give you the experience. Number two, fairly close to Pittsburgh. Number three, good pay. So for me, it was kind of like Swift Air. So when Swift Air is a supplemental 121 carrier that I got my start at, spent 4 months, 4 months there, and then moved on to Envoy to get closer to family because I missed family and wanted to come back to Dallas. But I do like here's the thing with more regularly scheduled service, James, is airlines is you have a repetition and you have processes that have been established. And Eastern's a little bit newer airline as we look at this Embraer E175 arriving at Salt Lake City on runway 16 right. Hey, Bubba, good to see you. Well, that would be super cool. Thank you for the offer, Jeffrey. That would be an awesome offer. That would be lovely. Oh, he's working tonight? Okay. I may have to check that out. Thanks, Bubag. Yeah, good old Speedbird, James. That would be lovely. Yeah, when I make the trip to London or England, Jeffrey, it'd definitely be for probably a week or so, eh? You know, just to get um, make sure I have plenty of time to plane spot and explore England. You know what? And Jeffrey, that's an interesting. Speaking of British Airways, I'm surprised they don't fly to Salt Lake City. I know that has SkyTeam and Air France and KLM and yada yada yada, but I'm actually kind of surprised that they don't do a flight to Salt Lake City nonstop. Maybe they'll announce one soon. We've all been talking about the often what flight we would like to see or airline we would like to see next in Salt Lake City. Speaking of that, all right, Micah, since you're local, what airline would you like to see next here at Salt Lake City International that we are missing currently as we check out another Embraer E175 arriving on 16 right here at Salt Lake City International Airport? Yep, James. I That's one of the reasons I want to come to Pittsburgh is to catch up the Dreamliner nonstop flight. Absolutely. Plus, I want to see the new construction. There you go. That's one that typically is one of the first ones to requested is Korean Air. That is typically one of the first I hear requested is Korean Air, and including myself. And I don't know. See, Micah, I don't know how old you are now, but Salt Lake used to fly like Delta used to fly to Tokyo, right? So now we don't have anything. So it's definitely one of the things I would bring back for sure is an Asia trip, a nonstop over to Asia. Well, thank you for the offer, Jeffrey. I may just take you up on that. That would be lovely. That would be outstanding. I will put you down, Jeffrey, as my contact in London. That would be awesome. And then you could show me around and I could show you and teach you about aviation. It'd be freaking awesome, man. Oh, he's in the air now? Oh, he's here now, Bubek? I might have to swing by and say, hey. No, there are not, unfortunately, ERB. There are no Lufthansa flights. However, let me backtrack. Hold on. Lufthansa owns Eurowings, and Eurowings Discover, the leisure airline, which is owned by Lufthansa, does fly to Salt Lake City. Yep, that. Yep, you're exactly right, Jeffrey. Yes, Las Vegas is the closest that we get to British Airways, but ERB, Eurowings Discover started last year for seasonal service, and they typically will fly the A330. They are going to be back Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. So that's May 26th, 27th, right around there. And I was told, and I confirmed it with the scheduling people here at the airport, that Eurowings will be back for a second year. So they will fly from Frankfurt nonstop here into Salt Lake City. Thank you for asking, Bubag. It went well. I was able to pass the test. In fact, our entire class passed the test. So we just finished it up today. And so we can move on to the next test that's supposed to happen next Friday. So a big relief, and we'll study again next week. So thank you for asking, Bubag. Huge relief. Huge relief. Yeah, ERB, it is soon. Can't wait. In fact, you may what I would encourage you to go back into the broadcast probably, I don't know, about an hour back or so, or close to that, maybe 50 minutes. We had KLM arrive, and KLM does seasonal service just like Eurowings. So like from they just started last week, KLM did, from late March into October. They do 3 times a week seasonal service into Salt Lake City on the Dreamliner. So we have, let me run down the international airlines we have here in Salt Lake City. Yeah, not quite yet, Bubag. I still need some more classes and whatnot. Um, and before I forget, Jeffrey, if we do go to Las Vegas tomorrow or Sunday, we'll go there eventually, by the way. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be another day, another week. But yeah, because you have both London Gatwick and also London Heathrow for British Airways that fly in there. And then Virgin Atlantic also flies into Las Vegas as well. So yeah. Yep, ERB. It was very exciting. It's always great to have the Dreamliner back. I don't know that I could go live on a bus, Bubag. That would probably be a safety violation for them, but I could certainly ask. Um, so the international airlines we have ERB are Eurowings Discover, KLM, Aeromexico Connect, Air Canada, and Micah, if you're still on the broadcast, let me know if I'm missing any. I think that's it. Those are the only international airlines we have. Air Canada from Canada, and then Eurowings Discover from Germany, KLM from Amsterdam in the Netherlands, of course, and then Aeromexico Connect from Guadalajara. And I think that's it. Now, Delta does do international flights. Yep. Yeah, Air Canada. Um, Delta does do international flights. No, no, Latam. No, I wish. I will say hi for him, Bubag. But I'm hopeful that another international airline will come to Salt Lake City, especially with Delta expanding their presence here. Um, like Micah and many others have said, Korean Air, a SkyTeam member, would be a natural fit since KLM and Delta are already here. And Delta does do 3 international flights. They fly to uh, London, Amsterdam, and Paris. So, of course, Paris, that's Delta's big hub there, and also Amsterdam with SkyTeam. Yeah, I know. I know, Micah. Salt Lake is kind of one-sided to Delta, so we need more SkyTeam partners, if anything. Got Delta 3879 showing up there in the distance on an Embraer E175. Okay. All right, Micah, I've got a question for you. James brought it up, and can we accommodate an A380? My gut is no, and I think I'm right on that one. I don't think we can accommodate, but I don't know. Maybe we have a gate out there. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, no. Yeah, so no, we cannot accommodate an A380 here at Salt Lake City, which is okay. We could. That's right, because of they had to divert, wasn't it? Wasn't that the last time we had it was a diversion here in Salt Lake City, Micah? Yep, that's right. Run the runway. See, and you know what? That brings up a really good point too, Micah. Is so it's not just about accommodating the aircraft as far as jetways and space and everything. The other thing is runways have structural weight limitations to them, and so you got to take that into account when you're being a flight dispatcher too, James. Fun fact. But yeah, runways also have weight limitations. So, and each airport has different runway weight limitations. That's, so when you see a piece of concrete that's 10,000 by 150 feet, it's not always the same weight limit. So that's a really good point, Micah. And that made me think like, oh yeah, airports also have runway weight limitations. Oh, Sao Paulo to LAX. Well, yes, I did see that ERB. That is very exciting, and hopefully, I'll be out there broadcasting. I know a lot of people like to broadcast from LAX, so hopefully, I'll be out there soon. Here's a CRJ 200 from Cedar City, Utah. Tiny little regional jet arriving from Cedar City, which is about 5 hours south. Yeah, you're like, oops, we're gonna have to close that runway forever. All right, Micah. So how long have you been aviation? Do runways melt? Do we have ways to melt the ice on the runways? Oh, that's a good question. Yep, I agree with you wholeheartedly, RB. 7 years now. Okay, very cool. Very cool, man. Well, he Micah is my inside source at Salt Lake City International Airport. Now he does bring up Bubag, you bring up a really good question because I do know there are certain roads, not necessarily runways, that are heated. This is true, that are heated, but I don't know about runways. I'd have to talk to facilities about that. Maybe Micah could check on that too. Don't know of any at any airports yet that have heated runways. That's a lot of money because and here's the other thing. Runways cost, you know, sometimes billions of dollars to construct. And I didn't say millions with M. I said billions with a B, by the way. And thank you, by the way. I haven't said thank you to everybody who is new here in the channel. I know we've been busy tonight, but thank you for tuning in and being a part of the broadcast. My name is Pip, and it's great to be back out here at Salt Lake City after getting sick and being stuck in school. Um, but thank you for joining in and encourage you to subscribe and like if you're new to the channel. We're going to wrap up our broadcast here in about 10 minutes. We'll wrap up our broadcast. But first, let's enjoy the sunset here if we can. So there we go. I'll put it right there as the sun sets behind the mountains to the west. No problem, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for saying hi. I know it's late there, but get some rest, man. I know you had a long flight, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon, but get some rest. Yep, ERB it is. It is. Yeah, it's been a good day. It'll be a good couple of days here in Salt Lake City before snow on the weekend or Monday. So everybody, let's all, when we say our prayers on Monday, we all pray for Micah on the ramp for Alaska Airlines. Yes, and James, for example, everyone, James is a de-icer at Pittsburgh International Airport. So we've got a lot of people here who work in aviation. So I am not the only source. A lot of smart people who join the broadcast with us. Okay. Well, that's good. Not too long as we had things out. I was sick, Bubag. Yeah, I had a sinus infection. Now I'm better now. They gave me a bunch of antibiotics. Oh, wow. Jeffrey, I did not know that. Thank you for sharing. Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that, ERB. Wonderful to hear, and we look forward to seeing you on here again. That's awesome. We will be back, and well, I'll put out a video and let you know next time that we're on. Hey, he's from Brazil. Bubag, is from Brazil. That's a good question. I'm sure he can answer that. Lives down there in Brazil. All right, Jeffrey, that's good information. So Jeffrey just told us that London Heathrow has a security strike, so it's chaos for Easter weekend. So let's avoid London, everyone. Probably very good advice. Oops. 10:45 p.m. now, so it's about 3 hours. You're about 3 hours ahead of us, ERB. Thank you for letting us know. Saturday night. Yeah, James, I was really excited. We hit 55 on a Friday night, so that was pretty exciting, man. I was pretty exciting. Thank you, sir. We're almost to 4,000 hours. Very close. All right, so before I get any further, James, I wanted to touch on a couple things that you said. As we're here winding down the broadcast here at Salt Lake City International Airport, and as we enjoy the sunset, we're on the west side, which is a little bit slower for departures, but typically is the busier arrival side of the airport. As we check out the sunset here, don't want to overexpose the sun too much to you guys, but got a little broadcast in the distance. Oh well, thank you so much, Jeffrey. That means a lot, and appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you again, Jeffrey. It's a lot of fun being out here, and this is what I love doing. So, James, as far as the whole de-icing thing and the runways, yeah. So, um, there are certain airports that have sweepers that they'll use a lot, and honestly, it really depends on the airport because the bigger airports have more money. So, the more money they have, the better equipment they can buy. So that's one of the big things is just that, for Pittsburgh, they probably have a pretty good arsenal of equipment to fight the snow. For small town like State College, Pennsylvania, not so much. Marquette, Michigan, not so much. So really, a lot of the uh, technology comes down to what the airports have as far as their budget, as far as money. So do the bigger airports, I shouldn't say more expensive, do the bigger airports have more equipment at their disposal to clear off runways? Potentially, but then they also have more space, more runways to clear off, and more taxiways and more of everything. So it's kind of a catch 22 situation. Well, Al Cray, you are the best, and I will do whatever it takes to get you on the broadcast. Dang it. It absolutely was awesome talking to you, Micah. And we'll make it happen where we'll get you on the broadcast because that'll be freaking awesome. And that'll be really cool. That will be really cool. So we'll do it soon. And it was awesome talking with you. So we're wrapping up our broadcast here at Salt Lake City as we see the sunset behind the mountains. And I'll pan a little bit left. And the sunset. Bubag, happy birthday to your grandpa. Tell him that Pip says happy birthday. That's wonderful. That's what we like to hear. So with that, thank you, Micah. We'll catch you soon. We'll talk to you soon. Send me that email so we can stay in touch. And Elcray, thank you. We're going to get you on. And Bubag, happy birthday to you. I know he doesn't know me. I was trying to be nice, Bubag. And ERB, great to meet you. Welcome in. And yeah, happy birthday to Grandpa, Bubag's grandpa. And Jeffrey, good to chat with you as well. Mark, and Steven, great to see you as well. Daniel, great to be back healthy. And stay safe there in Milwaukee. Stay safe from the storms. So, with that being said, it was great to meet everybody. Thank you. I will check out my email and I'll shoot you back, Micah. So we're going to close the broadcast for tonight. Thank you for everybody for tuning in and liking and subscribing. we'll be back on the air tomorrow. If it's in Salt Lake City, I'll put out a video regardless in the morning. We should be on the air in Salt Lake City at 10:30 or 11. If we go to Las Vegas, it'll probably be later in the afternoon, of course, to get down there. So regardless, I'll put down a video tomorrow morning of what we're going to do for tomorrow, but we will be on the air someplace tomorrow. So with that said, good night to everybody. Au revoir. Thanks, James. We'll talk to you again soon. See y'all. Everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. And look forward to getting you more plane spotting action live. You've been watching PPL Live. Good night.